Good afternoon. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans, the Ordination of Leslie Runnels. Please rise in body and spirit as we sing the processional hymn, Rank by Rank, Again You Stand, found on page 358 in the Great Hymn, yours also in your book. The ordination of one of our own into the community of UU clergy. A beloved member of this congregation, Leslie Runnels, will join the ranks of esteemed UU ministers that First Church has ordained, including the Reverend Melanie Morel Insminger, the Reverend Guy Lamont, the Reverend Deanna Vandiver, as well as ministers who emerged from this congregation but who were ordained elsewhere, the Reverends Jean Foster, Karen Matheson, Erica Hewitt, Julia Hamilton, and Nathan Ryan, some of whom are here today. Our congregation has also recently voted to sponsor another ministerial candidate, the talented Melissa Gamble, so our role in helping grow the UU ministry will continue. Perhaps it's something in the water that permeates this unique city that inspires this call to ministry for so many. Whatever the reason, we at First Church feel blessed to play even a small part in nurturing the wisdom, strength, and hope that these ministers offer to a world that is sorely in need during these tumultuous times. People are hurting, y'all, and our ministers are answering the call, comforting those in need, and inspiring activism for social justice. For this, we are deeply grateful. So welcome, beloved friends, UU ministers and leaders, visitors from near and far. We come together today in hope, solidarity, and celebration. And now I would like to invite up those to deliver for this special occasion, Kathy McGowan, and also Donna Yelverton, if you want to come on up and be ready to speak. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What an honor it is to be here today. I'm technically bringing greetings from the Unitarian Universalist Association, of which we are a part, and which I serve with my colleague Cameron Young through the southern region of the association. So that's what I'm officially here to do. But really, I'm here to celebrate with Leslie because we've known each other quite a long time. And it's just so exciting to be here. So I want you to know that while I stand up here, I don't represent the association. I represent the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations from all over. So when you see me, I hope you see like a funhouse mirror effect of all the people that are actually behind me. Thousands are with you today. And I'm just the representation of all of that, of which you are becoming not a part because you've always been a part, but a deeper, more important, more visible part of this great faith that we all love so dearly. So greetings to you all.
And I bring greetings from the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge. I had the pleasure of serving as president of the Board of Trustees when Leslie was our ministerial intern. She joined us during what could have been a chaotic time. We were in transition following our long-term senior minister, Steve Crump's retirement, and we had several interim ministers over several years, while also searching for a new senior minister and then a new minister of congregational life once we promoted Reverend Nathan Ryan and then searched for Reverend Chris Long. And we were in the time of COVID. Despite these challenges, Leslie was consistently upbeat and refreshingly committed to us. We loved our Zoom meetings and videos and services from afar in which she participated. And we were delighted to look into her personal world of art and cats and nature and beauty. Our work together was mutually beneficial. We helped her develop her ministerial fellowship competencies such as inclusive worship, collaborative work with colleagues and members, and using art to create multi-sensory worship. We learned from her storytelling, and we worked with her to adopt the 8th principle. Together, we adapted to our new technology. We decided that not every question is morally neutral, and that covenant is a theological way we choose each other again and again. As we emerged from isolation, we then gathered together to worship, play, and work while creating a world of peace and justice and becoming more whole and more holy together. In summary, our time with Leslie and her refreshing enthusiasm for our work together in a time of upheaval was mutually beneficial. Leslie, we are confident that this enthusiasm will help you guide your flock wherever you are called to pastor.
Thank you. This morning's message, I bring greetings from the Unitarian Coastal Fellowship in Morehead City, North Carolina, from Mark Cooper, who is the president of the board there. Greetings to First Church New Orleans. Let me begin by saying thank you to everyone who has helped, guided, taught, encouraged, listened to, and supported our soon-to-be ordained Reverend Leslie Runnels. We have heard some of the stories that have shaped her and some of the events leading up to this day, and we are just beginning on this next phase of Reverend Leslie's ministry. Reverend Leslie has been our full-time contract minister for a little over 2.5 months. The arduous search process was a more than a year-long venture for us, and seems to be a match made in heaven. As president of the Board of Trustees, the feeling I have is that we are on solid ground, and we both have made a good choice. We are a growing congregation with new young families and older, long-time members. We are meshing together and growing together. We are trying new things and doing things as we have always done them. As I looked for some summary quote or line from a poem with great insight for this wonderful occasion, what hit me was a line from a Lionel Richie song, "Easy Like Sunday Morning." I don't know if ministers think of Sunday mornings as being easy, as there is lots of preparation and moving pieces. For us, the UCF congregation, easy like Sunday morning means that special feeling of being together with shared values and listening to Reverend Leslie's inspirational words, breathing together as we slow down and center, and forgetting about the outside noise for a short while. It makes it easier to carry on. This is the rhythm of Sunday morning, a day of rest and reflection, when you can hear the sound of your friends' voices and just about smell the coffee. We know we will take good care of Reverend Leslie, and she will take good care of us. Thank you all, and thank you, Reverend Leslie. See you soon in love and light.
Come we all from the fingertips of outstretched arms into the embrace of religious community. Let us pause to savor the preciousness of this unrepeatable moment. Brought together by the spirit of love, let us feel the invisible thread that connects us to each other and to all things. This is the love that guides our effortless breath. May we breathe together. This is the love that empowers our hearts to life. May we feel the pulse of joy together. This is the love that sculpts our hope and our faith. May we create together. We come to share a sacred ritual and to honor a living tradition. We come to charge a new minister and to celebrate a devoted heart. We come to recognize the power of community and to be reminded of our possibility. We come to reflect our love and to uplift our faith. We come to witness transformation. We come to begin. We come to begin again. We come to begin again together. Let us begin again with this love, with this breath, together.
symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith and heritage, symbol of the raging fire of collective liberation, and the dancing flame of life in each of us, symbol of the sustaining work of community and of meaningful ministry. As we light this chalice, we call on those histories and on our collaborators and on the love of this community to tend these fires in Leslie as she carries the flames into the world, into her ministries, with beauty, with comfort, and with transformative imagination.
Please rise if you're able as we sing the hymn, We Are, found in the Hill Hymnal on 1051. We Are.
While highly metaphorical, this reading today about the moon and tides, I believe connects to the work of a minister, especially like Leslie, who reveals, like the moon, those spaces, those moments of transcendence and connection that slip so quickly in and out of our lives. As ministers, we have the honor to help, even for a moment, to reveal and accompany people through the diversity, the beauty, the terror of what we call life, to walk the shores with people together. This reading is from Rowan Jacobson, The Living Shore, Rediscovering a Lost World. When the full moon hauls back the waters, they emerge, a glittering band along the shore, like the balloons washed up from the wreck of the Spanish galleon. They close their shells tight and for a few hours become land. Bears slip out of the cedary woods and trundle over them, picking at a small fish that lingered too long. From a distance, you might think they were glinting rocks, just another cobbly beach, rather than acres of living coastline. But if you stepped out of your boat and explored, old shells popping softly beneath your boots, you'd smell their salt spray aroma and hear the crackling of receding water droplets and know that they were living, the living sea itself, holding on to the land to keep it from swirling away. And if you sat down among them and pried open some shells, and tipped the briny flesh into your mouth, you might get some sense of how it had always been. Then the moon lets go, and the water returns, snaking along the low points, bubbling up like springs from under the shells. Soon they are covered and they phase back to their other existence. They open their shells and drink in the sea. The bears withdraw, and 16-armed purple sea stars pull their way up the tide's advancing edge, gobbling as they go. Tiny creatures hunker down beneath the shells, within the shells, spinning out little lives in the biogenetic world. For a few hours, they disappear beneath the waves. And if you arrived at high water and didn't take the time to poke around, or if you were from some other place where the land and the water have already come unglued, and you assumed that the world you knew was the one that had always been, then you probably keep on going, and you never know they existed at all.
I hope you will determine your generosity on the sermon. Say that now. Which follows. You get ready? No pride for some of us without liberation for all of us. The words of Micah Van Zandt seem fitting for this day and for this sermon title. Or, with apologies to Rowan Jacobson, don't assume the world you knew is the one that has always been. Do not keep going, or you'll never know what could exist. Ordinations can be weird. I mean, yes, they are a holy and sacred time in the life of the ordinance, and for those gathered to witness the moment, and for those bestowing the new designation. But I've always thought it was just weird, in that in this case, Leslie enters the sanctuary, love and kudos are witnessed, a title bestowed, and walks out the Reverend Leslie Runnels. Of course, it doesn't mean, Leslie, that you will never be called just Leslie Runnels ever again, but it does mean from here on out that you cannot forget you are representing the mantle of ministry known as our beloved Unitarian Universalist tradition. You have woken up today as our dear Leslie, daughter, granddaughter, friend, relation, congregant, leader, magical artist, and teacher. And when you lay your head on your pillow tonight, you will add the Reverend to that. That's just weird. As if it only took a couple of hours or so to arrive here. But we all know it took much, much longer than that, especially if one spends a few years denying the call that can come on the whisper of a warm wind or in the middle of Mardi Gras, loud and knowing, celebratory and inevitable. But when it comes, it comes. And thankfully, it came for Leslie, who said, who, me? Maybe? Okay. Yes. And here we are. Hallelujah. And? Amen. This is one place I know I can do that, and you know exactly what I want from you. I want to take a moment now to express my profound gratitude to Leslie and the ordination team for inviting me and my daughter, Jaya, into this very special moment in the life of First for You. As most of you know, in our tradition, only congregations can ordain, and the decision is never entered into lightly. Leslie may go away from you, never to return in the capacities in which you've known and loved her for, but she will always remain connected to you deeply because of today and all the days and experiences that led here. When I met Leslie in 2005, it was during a hopeful moment for First Church. It was candidating week in April, where we were each, respectively the congregation and myself, kicking the tires, so to speak, checking out the wares. It was a beautiful week where I learned who everyone was, such that in the final grill after the service, where I sat alone on the chancel answering questions, I could call on each raised hand by name. Names I have never forgotten. And true to First Church's whimsical character, a cauldron was used to burn the papers afterwards, upon which each vote was written, and they raised white smoke to complement the same white smoke of Pope Benedict XVI's acceptance. That is my connection to it. Our hopeful journey began, but in a very different way than we anticipated due to Katrina. But I am grateful that it has continued. And together we have arrived at this living place, a threshold moment. A moment I know Leslie did not see coming way back then. A beloved writer to me is Jan Richardson, who writes, "Whether we arrive at these between places by design, by accident, or by the choices that others have made for us, the threshold can be a place of wonders. It can also be chaotic, discombobulating, and even terrifying. Yet a threshold, chosen or otherwise, is a place of wild possibility. As we sit together this day, it is in that threshold moment that we are called to witness. I love Jan's use of the term wild possibility for all the edges that can't be known yet, but for one's willingness to discover. The idea of thresholds in and of itself is so rich with just any old possibility. You and I, we are going through them all the time in all facets of our lives. Too many to name. I'd rather you be present to this one. You do know this isn't just Leslie's threshold, right? It belongs to all of us. I named this because the thing about thresholds is that they aren't always acknowledged. They so often slip by as if we float through them and not realize we've gone through some kind of doorway, obvious or metaphorical, ordinary or magical. Mostly thought of as a quantitative measure. After all, even the moon must reach certain thresholds to move through its phases. We often lose out on the qualitative thresholds that can add beauty, human accountability, validation, and richness to our lives when we are aware of them. As we cross the many thresholds in our lives or in our days, as we take it literally, we cross from room to room, from place to place. And one reason they aren't acknowledged is because we aren't aware of those moments. In our daily events, decisions, discussions, whether alone or with another. So I'm inviting you to notice those threshold moments, those places where revelation can be unsealed. Especially if it is a hard moment, perhaps you have to say no, and you know it will change everything. Or you bumped up against a microaggression and are faced with naming it to your dear friend or congregant in all its uncomfortableness. Notice what is happening in that moment, in your body especially. Perhaps your throat constricts or a weak smile emerges to smooth the edges. Perhaps compassion or grace enters the space between you and the recognition of humanity allows for a sincere apology to remind each of us of the love that is desperate to hold us together. And because that spurs us forward, thresholds can hold a promise too. As our colleague, the Reverend Tanya Marquez writes, the road beyond the threshold we find ourselves in is not carved out yet, but the territory already seems so different from what we leave behind. We cross thresholds because we believe in what is beyond them. Fulfillment, healing, a sense of wholeness, adventure. Yet, this belief can also cause us to miss those important moments achieved on your way to the bigger, harder thing. Entering the frontier of a collective hope that we've never seen, yet know it can exist, it must exist, moves us forward through every obstacle. And yet obstacles inevitably teach us something about ourselves, and once overcome, must be celebrated. Leslie accepted this threshold of a call to ministry, knowing that it was going to be hard, but she could also feel the excitement of it. She knows that it can still be fun, and though challenging, agreed in her heart to do what she could for our movement and the larger movement for liberation. She brings her moon energy, her creative energy, her fierce energy, all of which we need. In musing about this threshold idea, I was intrigued by the thought, and I don't know where I found it, that passing thresholds is an opportunity for your brain to reset. Known as a psychological phenomenon, it's called the doorway effect. It is the reason why one forgets why you went, what you went to get in that and, key point here, it can happen at any age. I have a curiosity now about what the brain and perhaps the heart and soul are doing as it resets in those moments. I name this to acknowledge that as Leslie goes through this ordination threshold, this initiation, if you will, there will be all manner of resets she will need to do, many internally in her ministerial role. When the late Irish writer John O'Donoghue wrote of thresholds, he said they come with a great complexity of emotions, confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, hope, and tears. It is wise to be able to recognize and acknowledge the key thresholds, to take our time, to feel all the varieties of presence that accrue right there. It is in feeling those varieties of presence that the reset moment can turn from confusion to hidden gold. Questions from what am I leaving to where am I about to enter might be found among those feelings. Friendships change, and to avoid unintended hard feelings, maintaining a delicate balance can be created with new thresholds to honor what the friendships have been and what must be different. for where are you entering, I can say for sure that where or what you think you are entering is more of a block than is helpful. I know, Leslie, that you have a sense of this entry, and remember that there is still so much to be revealed. Thus, expecting further revelation will make ministry a smidge easier, and every smidge helps. The awareness and acceptance of the multitude of thresholds both in and out of ministry that we all experience gives us the opportunity as well to know beforehand what we will need and from whom, if anyone, to cross safely. This reminds each of us that we have done so before, that we've done this before, and perhaps make present a moment of doubt about what wisdom we may have gleaned to continue forward, trusting in that wild possibility may await us. In probably what seems like forever ago, Leslie opened the scary door of ordained ministry after emerging from under the covers when the call first came to her. How proud we are, Leslie, that you, as scary as it was, trusted the message you were getting and trusted too that you would not be making this journey alone. Now, forever. All of us in this room and beyond are here for you, wherever here may be. We are part of your collective, trailing behind, accompanying you, and if you allow it, helping to lead you toward your much greater goal, that of collective liberation for all. A massive invitation to the greatest threshold. I am so heartened that in the last 20 years since I was your minister, your heart and desire to serve humanity has expanded into this wild possibility where working toward liberation for all will bring a communal pride like no other. You stepping up to say and know in your bones after much hard work, self-reflection, owning up, look, I want all people to be free, not just some of us. And to know then that it was your call for the rest of your life. It will take more courage and grit than what led you to this day, but it's a beautiful start as an ally for my people and for all people. This is a threshold that you will not reach in your lifetime, as it is generations' work. It is the promised land of all promised lands, and while we know there is no straight line or universal path to achieve it, may we not wander endlessly trying to find the doorway. Even as you would say in your questioning sense of humor, but not everyone will fit through the doorway at the same time. Your next thought will be, in the practice of collective liberation, well, time to build a bigger doorway. And I will paint it real pretty too. At some point in our collective hopeful future, may we all pray or hold deeply in our hearts these criteria for collective liberation as written on the Infleshed website, recognizing it is a labor for love of justice. Fourth, it is understood and accepted that all life is entangled, inseparable, permeable, eternally woven together. Individualism is rejected and collaboration celebrated. As we acknowledge the difficulty of the fact that we need each other, let us dig deeper to tend beauty and to build, one ordinary practice at a time, new patterns for life together. Collective liberation is a ground-up business. It is relational, it is tender and poetic and fierce. It can be somber and full of grief, but it also requires attention to pleasure and joy and desire and delight. Leslie is charging us not just to witness her ordination, but to join her in the fight for all of our lives, whether we will live to see it or not. The best ordination gift that you can give to Leslie is to say, si, ya, han, u, we, evet, yes, y así sea. Amen, ashe, and blessed be.
Thank you for inviting us. People, leaders from all over this group. What a privilege to be counted among them. What a great event. And thank you, and your sister, Martha, for opening up the generosity heart and machinery for us, because I want us to think about being generous tonight. There is a special offering that Leslie would like for us to split, not for himself, but for two important funds of the Universal Association. The first being the Living Tradition Fund, which is in our tradition collection, not only the service of living tradition, but for ordinations and installations, especially that. So we are receiving the offering tonight to be shared with the Living Tradition Fund of the UUA. Funds that go for scholarships, for grants, and for emergency aid of religious professionals, not just ministers, in our religious movement. And the other portion of the fund tonight is shared with ELUU, Black Lives Unitarian Universities. Yes. And the Living Tradition Fund has been around since 1990, and ELUU is a rather new organization. And maybe we'll have fundraising for it for, I'll just pick a number, for the next 450 years. And then assess how we're doing in the area of liberation work that you so much love and we so much love, and capacity building with and among Black Unitarian Universalists in our religious movement. So that's the deal. And then I have a story for you. And as you're thinking about the amount, not whether you will get it, but as you're thinking about the amount, those are that is. We have a QR code. Where would we be without QR codes? So right on the back of the order service, or you can text me. There's a phone number there too. And then for people who are younger than I should probably explain there are these things years ago called checkbooks. So somebody may want to write a check, and it would be fine if you wrote it to First Unitarian Universalist in New Orleans. That would be fine. In any case, the bottom line is we're going to split 50-50. Tonight's offering. Okay, now you're going to be thinking about the amount, and here's the story. It's going to be quick. It's a story about George and Martha and their pastor. Not the George and Martha of Edward Albee. These are much nicer. This is a much nicer couple. They were together for many decades and have been together for many decades. Martha and George. We'll call them UUs. Nice people. And Martha calls her pastor. I have news, Pastor. Oh, no, it's about George. Well, it is about George. How's George doing? Well, he's been moved from the cardiac care unit now to the hospital floor. Well, that's good news. Well, yes. Is that why you're calling? Well, I wanted you to know that, but there's some other good news. It's outstanding news. And if I share it with George, I'm afraid he'll become so excited he may end up with a setback. And we don't want that to happen. And since you are a very competent pastor, and you have a way with words, just before he had his event, George bought a Powerball ticket. And he won the jackpot. And it's after we paid taxes, probably $150 million. And I wanted to have this news, but I'm not the one to do it. Pastor, would you go in with me and we'll tell George? What great news. I'm so excited for you. Well, it is really good news. And George should know, he's the one that bought the ticket. I never buy one of those plastic tickets. So they go into the hospital room, and George is greeted by Martha and their pastor. And Martha says, Pastor has some news that we wanted you to know, and it's very important. Well, what kind of news? It's really good news, but we don't want you to get too excited about it. Well, go ahead. Don't let me talk doing much better. Let me hear about it. And the pastor explains this whole thing. Remember when you bought this ticket? Oh, did I win something? Yeah, you won something. It's about, it could be close to 200, probably $150 million after taxes. And George said, I'm delighted. I'm going to give it all to the church. Whereupon the pastor fainted from apoplexy, and he was never resuscitated again. Now the moral of the story is, not that you should buy a Powerball ticket. That would not be my moral. Or you shouldn't ask the pastor to deliver hard news or good news. The moral of the story is, don't be shocked at someone's generosity. So there isn't a religious leader or a soul in this congregation tonight that will be shocked with your generosity as we now receive this afternoon's offering for this spectacular ordination.
I would love for you all to sing along with me the chorus of this song. And here's how it goes. I said, all will be well. All will be well, all manner of things will be well. Wonderful. I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it's brought me to my knees. But she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. And she said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. And she said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know, it's too much. It brought me to my knees, where I heard, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? And baby girl, do you not know about friends? And she said, baby girl, do you not know about the spirit? And she said, baby girl, do you not know only love that never ends, only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Here, thanks.
I think we have some business to take care of. Leslie Runnels, will you rise and face the congregation, please? In the living tradition of the Unitarian Universalist Church, the authority to ordain a minister rests with the congregation. It is a meaningful and joyous occasion, a sacred time as we ordain one whose ministry was shaped by being among us. The members of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of New Orleans gathered this afternoon to ordain Leslie Runnels into ministry. We have witnessed your commitment and gifts to this congregation, and we honor your calling to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. May you preach the truth in love, minister to joys and sorrows alike, work for justice and liberation, nurture spiritual growth, and embody in your life the principles of your faith, our faith. In our eyes and in our hearts, Leslie, you are a minister. Today, we confirm your calling. Leslie, are you prepared to embark formally and fully upon the path of ministry?
Gratitude, love, and joy, I am.
She said yes. I now invite the members of the First ceremony, rise in body or spirit and join together in reciting the words of affirmation that are in the order of service.